Should taxpayers be able to dictate how assistance is spent? Several states have proposed legislation stating that people who receive assistance for their food cannot buy things like junk food, candy, soda, etc. This is also something that RFK Jr. is pushing for. If you've been with me for a minute, you probably already know what I think about this, but honestly, I think this is much ado about nothing. I think of all the things we could be worried about, I don't know why this is even something that we have to bring up. Because, first of all, if you don't need assistance for your groceries, then just be grateful that you don't need assistance for your groceries and move on with your life. The need to control and to criticize and to judge people who are poor for how they're spending their money or assistance that they're receiving is something that I find a little grotesque, to be honest. I think my biggest problem is this conversation is presented as, well, this shouldn't be a waste of taxpayer money. We need to do what we can to make sure this is not a waste of taxpayer money. So many times we go from this genuine concern for how taxpayer money is being spent to just a general hatred for poor people. So I just, at this point, question the authenticity of people who bring this up. Is your agenda actually people's health? Is your agenda actually making sure we encourage people to make healthy decisions? Is your agenda actually making sure taxpayer money is not wasted on decisions you don't personally approve of? It just seems like every single time that this conversation is brought up, that kind of authenticity just does not exist. I will say that the only valid point that I ever see brought up in this conversation is the concept that it can prevent the government from having to spend more money to help people down the road based on health problems that their purchases contributed to. That I don't think is an invalid conversation, but when we bring up SNAP specifically, the goal again is to just shame people who are poor. I really don't think that this is coming from a genuine place of wanting to save money on healthcare down the road or wanting to prevent taxpayer money from being wasted. Because here's the thing, I promise you, if we enforce this, if we change SNAP or any other food assistance program and we say, look, you can only buy X, Y, and Z products because we've determined it to be healthier. Well, here's the thing about healthier food. It's more expensive. It's more expensive. Okay? So people who are on assistance are going to need more than what they're getting for all their junk food to buy healthier foods. Are you going to actually then be willing to follow through and say, okay, since we want people to buy healthier and we're eliminating junk food, which is typically way, 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 way cheaper, I'm willing to pay more as a taxpayer so that they get more in their assistance. I really doubt people who start this conversation are going to be willing to do that. I really doubt it. Now, there was a social media post I came across. This was almost 10 years ago. So don't get me wrong, this was 10 years ago. But I promise you, if they actually start enforcing this, we're going to start moving to this conversation. So it was this woman who was in the parking lot and found a receipt on the ground. And it was a SNAP recipient. And they got a bunch of fresh meats and all this stuff. And she took a picture on it and she was raging on Facebook. Me and my husband both work so many jobs. We're the middle class. You know, we're having to give our taxpayer money to people who need assistance, and they're spending it on all this expensive stuff. Well, yeah, you see what I mean? SNAP recipients are going to be criticized regardless of how they actually spend the assistance that they are given. People need to worry about themselves more, frankly. If someone else is on assistance, all you should be worried about on a societal level is why they need assistance. What are we doing wrong as a society if a whole lot of us are needing assistance from the government? And this is why I say that I feel like this conversation is disingenuous, because whenever you start to bring up, well, what economic concerns can we address here? That's what people shut down. No. I just want to talk about how people are spending the assistance. Okay, so this has nothing to do with getting to the root of the problem. This has nothing to do with improving anything, and has everything to do with criticizing people who have less resources than you do. Got it. Because the reality of the situation is, people are going to be criticized for receiving assistance with their food, regardless of what they purchase. If they get nothing but healthy foods, they're going to be criticized for not utilizing the amount they're given to the best of their ability. They're going to be criticized for buying luxury items that they shouldn't be able to buy. But then on the flip side of that, there's other folks who are going to be mad at them if they only buy junk food. I don't want to get too personal here, but I'm in the process of improving my diet, and I gotta tell you, it is expensive. I am having second thoughts. It would be so much easier for me to just continue doing what I'm doing and not changing anything. So much easier. Even when you look at like cash back deals and couponing deals, they're almost all, at least all the best ones, are for overly processed crap that I shouldn't be buying to begin with. It is harder to stretch my budget if I want to buy healthy foods. So if you're not willing to discuss that, and if you don't want to have a discussion about the economic issues that are leading to people needing assistance with their food, it's really just all boils down to judgment. It all boils down to, I don't approve of what that other person is doing, and because they're on assistance, I think it's something I need to comment on. That's all this is. I just don't get taken it seriously. And honestly, it is kind of a shame because I do think people should try to eat healthier. I think most Americans who know that they're eating junk food should try to change their ways, but it is expensive. And thanks to the current regime, it's going to continue being very expensive because he wants to make his points to other countries at the expense of the consumer. Grocery prices are going to continue to rise, and maintaining a diet of healthy foods is going to continue to be expensive for a while. And even when we reach a point where it kind of levels out, it's probably not going to come down. Very rarely do prices ever go back down after some type of catastrophe or time of inflation passes. So if people on assistance actually apply your advice, they're either going to need more assistance than they're already getting, or they're just going to have to settle for not having enough food that money was supposed to pay for because they're trying to get these more expensive, healthy items. It's not about caring about people's health. It's not about wanting things to be right. It's not about looking out for the taxpayer. It's just about judging poor people for how they spend their money. No one will be judged more for how they spend their money, whether it's something they earned or something that was given to them, than someone who is poor. You will be judged for that. People will always feel the need to give their commentary. Please leave a comment and let me know, do you think that any of this is genuine, or do you agree with my take that this is basically just another way of just judging people who are poor?